You're watching The Pulse on the JoyNews channel. The Cybersecurity Authority uses the month of October every year as a period to create awareness for the populace to be informed of the ongoing cybersecurity activities both in and around the globe as well as the country. Now, this year's celebration was launched this morning by the Acting General of the Cybersecurity Authority, Dr. Albert Bosiak, who has joined us this afternoon here on The Pulse to have a conversation about this year's event. Dr. Bosiak, thank you for your time here on The Pulse. So first of all, many may have not heard about the National Cybersecurity Awareness Month concept, but if someone walks up to you to find out what the essence of this Awareness Month is, what would your response be?
Thank you very much, Kofi, for giving us opportunity to engage with your viewers. For us, National Cybersecurity Awareness Month is an important occasion to bring awareness on cybercrime and cybersecurity issues to the public. This is the sixth year that the country has been celebrating this. It is an event that is mostly celebrated by different countries. It's become a kind of global celebration. And I think Ghana has taken it to another level, trying to deepen the relationship between public and private sector institutions on the need to build the necessary skills to be able to detect and prevent cybersecurity incidents. The Ministry of Communication in 2018 conducted a study looking at the various pillars of our cybersecurity development. One area that we didn't perform very well was awareness, the mindset, the culture and the mindset of our citizens with respect to cybersecurity consciousness. Therefore, the ministry at the time, led by Honorable Esla Ekufu, gave a direction for this event to become a national celebration, kind of a formal institutionalization of the awareness and creation. That led to the Safer Digital Ghana campaign, which was launched by His Excellency, the Vice President at the time. That was on the 1st of October 2018. Since then, this has become one of the flagship events that we celebrate here. There are four pillars of the awareness creation. Awareness creation focusing on the risks faced by children, awareness creation focusing on the risks that the public in general are facing, awareness creation, capacity building relative to business, but also generally awareness creation in government, especially as we digitalize. So it has become a celebration, and this year we are also marking the event. Formal launch took place this morning at the Ministry of Information conference room, and we're engaging with stakeholders, including the media, to raise awareness on the need for our citizens, our residents, to observe cyber hygienic best practices as we seek to develop our economy through digitalization. So that is effectively what the Cybersecurity Authority, which has a mandate to lead awareness creation effort, is doing. We have that mandate, but we need to work with both public sector, private sector institutions. So we've been working with the Joint Cybersecurity Committee, which is an establishment under Section 13 of the Cybersecurity Act. These are agencies, state agencies, but also private sector industry players, the telecommunication sector, the banking, civil society, international partners, and collectively with citizens. Again, Ghana is doing well with respect to our internet adoption. More than 50% of the population uses internet, most of them using smart devices. And I think we need to complement that effort by creating awareness.
Right.
We need to observe cyber security best practices.
The focus largely has been on awareness. Some experts say, why not crackdown? At least that has been the norm and the impression that it's more about enforcement and not awareness. So why is awareness creation necessary now in the cybersecurity development?
Again, I think it's very important to look at the different dimensions of responding to cybersecurity issues. Certainly, enforcement is one area, and I think we'll be going there. And even enforcement is not only through criminal actions, but enforcement with respect to the implementation of regulations. I think we need to stay proactive globally, even in advanced countries. Not more than 20% of cybersecurity incidents that are reported go through successful investigation and prosecutions. Now, by the nature of cyber incidents, it can be very complex and difficult, if not impossible, to trace and prosecute. Therefore, a developing country like ours, again, I did mention about the research conducted by the ministry, where you have a gap, your citizens do not appreciate the basic security associated with the use of digital devices. Like if you do a survey, many Ghanaians possibly do not appreciate or see the need to install antiviruses on their smart devices. Here, it is our responsibility to create awareness. So indeed, enforcement is one aspect of that. But I think as a quick win, we need to bring the level of awareness of our citizens onto the risk. Again, statistics shows that in more than 90% of cyber incidents, the human factor is a key determinant for the attack. So you are likely to find even a phishing attack or ransomware attack in which a human actor has played a role by clicking on a link that possibly he or she wasn't supposed to click. So we seriously need to raise that level of awareness for citizens to be able to responsibly use the internet and digital devices, while at the same time working to also improve enforcement. And enforcement, again, I will want to look at a proactive element of enforcement by way of regulations. Regulations means that, for example, Ghana has identified about 189 institutions, which we call critical information infrastructure owners. These are in the various sectors. We have the telecommunication sector, the financial sector, health sector, energy sector. And our economy depends on these sectors. Therefore, the authority has issued a directive for the protection of these institutions. And we're expecting those critical information infrastructure owners to deploy and implement the minimum cybersecurity, baseline cybersecurity measures that would lead to the prevention of potential attacks. And I think we keep hearing them. A few months ago, we heard about U.S. energy sector, that the energy firm had to pay $5 million USD before a ransomware attack. They were able to mitigate that. We don't want to get to that level, even though we can determine. But I think that is what we are being proactive by way of regulations. And of course, we also expect our law enforcement agencies, primarily the CIA, the YOCO, and others, to be equipped to be able to also investigate and prosecute, as you rightly indicated, by way of enforcement.
And clearly, this is not the first time we're hearing of the Cybersecurity Awareness Month. I'm just wondering what's unique about this year's celebration and what you intend to achieve. What's going to be the focus for this month?
Very well. I think the focus, Kofi, again, thank you very much. The focus of this year is on the need for both public and private sector institutions to appreciate the need for regulations. And the term here is collaborative approach towards regulations. We want to build understanding that if we have our critical sectors of our economy depending on digital systems, we need to put the necessary cybersecurity measures in place. It is key. One area of also regulation we are looking at is the authority is looking forward, starting 1st of January. Every cybersecurity service provider will have to be licensed to offer the service because, for example, by the nature of the service, it can be very intrusive, and some of the work that the service providers do have impact on our national security, and therefore we need to have some visibility in making sure the businesses in this sector are conducted consistent with international best practice, but also within the environment of law. Therefore, these are some of the regulatory measures we are currently working on. There is also regulations on incident reporting that businesses, once a cyber incident happens, will have obligation to report to either a sectorial set or the Cybersecurity Authority through the National Computer Emergency Response Team. Therefore, we need to engage with the industry, primarily businesses, also the public sector, the public, to appreciate the need for some of these interventions which is needed, as a matter of fact, to ensure that we are able to protect the digital dividends that our country has started benefiting by way of adopting digitalization.
When the issue of the cyberspace comes up, some experts are very much not positive about the possibility of governance in the cyberspace. Others believe that with the right infrastructure and investment, we'll be able to attain that. So I'm just wondering, in your own small way, how are you managing that at the Cybersecurity Authority, and what measures are you putting in place to regulate this industry?
Yeah, I think I'm not too sure where the pessimistic view of which aspects are having this pessimistic view. But I think I'll rather point out data to you. We started this journey somewhere in 2017. Ghana's level or the state of readiness as evaluated by the ITU was somewhere around 32.6%. ITU does analysis of nations through their global cybersecurity index. So Ghana was ranked at 32.6% of readiness. Readiness means that the nation has got certain measures in place by way of legislation, policy strategy, awareness creation, organizational measures, capacity building, awareness creation, and so on and so forth. As at the end of 2020, Ghana's cybersecurity readiness moved from 32.6% to 86.69%. Frankly, from grade F to A. And again, I'm talking about readiness, means putting the necessary measures in place. I think within a period of 4 years, if we've been able to move at this level, and the element that constituted this development is, for example, Ghana passing the Cybersecurity Act, which is being also copied or adopted by other African countries. At least I have 4 other countries on the continent who are actually also doing same by way of signing up to the Budapest Convention, which is helping improve our law enforcement response to investigations, to be able to engage with our international partners to obtain evidence to assist in prosecutions by putting up the incident reporting mechanism. For example, we have citizens calling 292 to seek guidance to prevent cybersecurity incidents, which is also an intervention that has been put in place. The establishment of computer emergency response teams and others. So these are measures that have been implemented. Again, this in no way represent immunity from cyber attacks. As long as we are digitalized, as long as our citizens continue to use internet and digital infrastructure. Currently, as I speak, Ghana is ranked the 3rd country in the world with active social media presence. I think we are only behind Nigeria and the Philippines, where our citizens actively spend time on social media. So it means that we face existential threat as long as we use the internet. So it's a question of putting the necessary mitigating mechanisms in place. We don't have a choice but to use the internet. And I think the authorities' mandate is really to ensure that at the individual level, at the business level, at the government level, we put the necessary risk management mechanisms in place so that should in case attack happens, we will be able to mitigate those attacks and still use our digital infrastructure, because that has become part and parcel of our socio-economic life. And certainly it has impact on our future, economically, politically, and any other area that you can imagine as people.
To wrap up on this, looking forward to the Cybersecurity Month, what will be your message to the general public, and what do we need to focus on as we look up to that celebration?
Kofi, thank you. I think the message here is cybersecurity is a collective responsibility. The government is enabler of cybersecurity development. So enabling intervention means that as authority, an agency of the state, we are leading the celebration of the month. But again, we have individuals using their digital devices, smartphones. We have businesses who have set up their own network and operate. We have government data which is being shared among agencies of the Republic. So we are calling on everybody, organizations, civil society, private sector institutions, to dedicate time, a period within the month of October, to sensitize their citizens. So, for example, Joy FM, the expectation is within the month of October, management will take a decision to create awareness session. Your information security department or IT department will conduct awareness sessions, bringing all your staff to come to appreciate that, look, the threats are there. Let's use our digital infrastructure, our digital systems, but we need to be careful. We need to be conscious of the dangers that we face as we utilize technology. I think that is really the message to all of us. And the authority is available to provide support, guidance, and even facilitators to support businesses, institutions, which will take the necessary steps to educate their staff, stakeholders, and the citizens at large. I believe also that the media is a player to you to provide a platform for experts, not just only the CSA, but we have people within the country who are knowledgeable in this area who can share their perspective to help protect our citizens.
I'm afraid we'll have to leave the conversation here. Dr. Enchibusiako, thank you for your time. We'll reconnect in October, even probably before then. I'm grateful for your time. But let's